right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, we are live from Maya Cinemas for The Amateur. I got a great guest lineup here. We're talking with Shahab Zargari, Stephen Hughes, and Marco Arriaga. And this movie was something I really did not know whether or not I was going to like going into it, but I had a really good time with it, and we had a great show. I want to give extra special thanks to these three who joined me on the panel, and also to everyone who showed up, because this was a very last-minute addition to our live show lineup, but it all worked out. We had a great time, and we'll be announcing more live shows very, very soon, and hopefully we'll see you out at some of those live shows. You can find out about everything that we got going on at Piecing Pod on all the social medias. And make sure you're following and subscribe to the show and all that kind of stuff. So with that said, let's get into today's episode on The Amateur. All right, I'm David Rosen, the host of the Piecing It Together podcast. We're going to talk about the movie we just watched, but before we get into it, I do want to introduce my panel here. Shahab Zargari returning to the show. Shahab, introduce yourself. Tell everybody what you do.
Shahab Zargari, local filmmaker. I also do music videos, and want to say, let me just plug it now. We have a short film we collaborated on together.
Yes.
It will have a world premiere at the Nevada Women's Film Festival this June.
Wow.
So definitely come on by. There will be free posters on the day that we screen. So.
Absolutely. I'm releasing a single also of the score from the short, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to be cool. Stephen Hughes up next. Stephen, first time on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Absolutely.
My name is Stephen. I'm a film fan and a fan of the podcast.
Right on. Happy to have you on the show. So Marco Arriaga coming back to the show. Introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm a stand-up comedian, professional wrestling ring announcer, but lover of movies all the while.
Absolutely.
Ready for WrestleMania next week?
Yes, I have such a busy weekend. That
should be
Awesome.
definitely a fun time.
Yes,
So going into this movie, The Amateur, I genuinely had no idea what to expect with this one. I mean, I saw the trailer like everyone else and was like, maybe, but I was pleasantly surprised. I had a good time with this. I thought we got applause from my dad up there. I thought it was like a total throwback to just total throwback to just a straightforward, good action movie. It doesn't break any kind of new ground, but it does what it does, and it does it well. The main thing for anyone here who hasn't listened to Piecing It Together before, the main thing we do here is we talk about the movie through the lens of what other movies might have inspired it. And so we're going to go through a few rounds of what we call puzzle pieces, which are other movies or sometimes TV shows or other media that we think were an influence on The Amateur. And aside from the fact that this is based on a book, which was a movie back in 1981, so of course, there's that. I think we should start off with Mission Impossible because there's just so much here. It's so obvious. Like, and I think they kind of probably inspired each other along the way, but all of the like tricking everybody with the different faces and the playing with surveillance footage and all those things. And of course, it just being a spy movie in general. I mean, there's just so much Mission Impossible here. If Ethan Hunt was kind of a weird little guy who doesn't really do good.
Why do you
action.
say little? Why does that? Why is that not that comes up in your
He's
mind?
a bit of an oddball.
I was just waiting for Wolf Blitzer to show up and pull off his face.
That would have been good. I was actually expecting this movie, and I don't think it needed to, but like there were moments. I think my dad was saying that he thought the wife was going to show back up. I thought there was going to be quadruple and septuple crosses and things and twists and all that stuff.
They never showed her die.
That's true.
Right? Right? Yeah.
Part two.
Yeah, my friend. Yeah, that's exactly. They were setting up the sequel. They were like, but they never showed her. They never.
Just the agony.
Exactly.
That's right. Absolutely. So.
He wants
and great soundtracks. Yeah, Volker Bertemann. That was actually the number one thing I was excited about with this film because I love his scores, and another great one here. But so Mission Impossible to kick it off. I think we all probably were thinking that going in. But Shahab, let's go to maybe a slightly less obvious one.
Yeah. And let me say two things. One thing I thought about the film, I thought it was a lot of hurry up excitement to talking. Hurry up excitement to talking. And it was like this weird rhythm that it had with that, which I thought was interesting. Also, every single actor played it straight.
Yeah.
This was completely straight, but for some reason, I was watching Naked Gun. I kept laughing, the reactions, the one-liners. I was seriously cracking up the entire film. And they're being serious, and he's so heartbroken, and I'm like, like what?
There's a
It has
lot of
its bits.
melodrama to this,
It
and
has
like
its bits.
and it's totally like you said, played
So
straight face.
not Naked Gun's not really espionage, but still.
No, sure.
And
That's
enforcement.
what they were going for in Naked Gun was the prime espionage.
Yeah. So what Naked Gun was making fun of, this did perfectly. You know what I mean?
They were
So-
like, yeah.
I
We
was
can
like,
do that
there's just a
again. We can
different
do that
cut to
again.
this movie that plays more as a spoof.
One with a laugh track.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like,
laugh track or change the score, make it goofy or something like that. But yeah, no, I love it absolutely. Steven, let's go to one from you.
So the first one I saw, and I had this from the trailer alone,
Mhm.
the pool scene. That was directly from Mechanic Resurrection with Jason Statham.
Oh gosh, did I see that? I can't remember if I saw that was the
What was
second
it?
was the
one.
sequel.
The second
Mechanic
one.
Resurrection.
Mechanic Resurrection.
Yeah.
God.
The
All
first
of his
one was
movies
Statham.
kind of run together.
Maybe.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first one with Statham sucked, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Mechanic Resurrection was actually really good with a great Tommy Lee Jones campy performance in it too.
The Mechanic Resurrection. It was The Mechanic with Jason Statham.
Yeah. And anyways, there's a scene in there where he basically, I think it may have been the same hotel and same pool, and he goes up and he actually injects something underneath the pool, and then flies back down to the building, pretty much.
Okay.
But he kills the guy, dropping him just like that.
Those pools are a bad idea, no matter what.
People
Action
just
movie
been
or not.
plotting on those pools. There's like, I'm never swimming in those pools. I got to figure out how to destroy them.
Yeah.
I got to figure out.
Yeah. If anybody who sees it just wants to see it fall. So yeah. Well, I love it, and yeah, Jason Statham. I mean, hit or miss. I always want to see what he does next, and maybe one day I'll go back to that.
The
one.
only bad thing about that movie was they had Michelle Yeoh with no action scenes.
How do you do that?
That was the only bad thing.
That's a very strange choice.
But apart from
You'll
that,
find
it was-
out when you
No
watch
Michelle
the movie.
Yeoh. No Michelle Yeoh. Not enough Michelle Yeoh. I guess.
Yeah, not enough.
There you go.
Not enough.
Yeah.
All right, Marco, let's go to one from you.
This is a good shout out to a friend of mine. This is one of his favorite movies, but with this, I felt like they kept going to leaning a little bit more into like the cybersecurity, the hacking aspect of it. And it brought me back to the movie Hackers.
Yes,
It's on my list,
that.
too.
Yes.
Because
Angelina
I felt
Jolie.
like as much as that movie was like late 90s, early 2000s, like it really captured what we thought hacking would be like.
Sure.
And in the same way where this movie was like, hey, this is hacking, but it's
Right.
like computer screens.
Screens inflected in eyeballs.
Scrolling, this thing happening, and it's like, oh, it's still just the same. Like Hackers was the first thing. This thing pops up, and now we're in this file. So I just couldn't escape it, and it also has this like against like the big corporation kind of big like deal and
Taking them
and
down.
yeah, and Hackers was very much like that in the way that from the very jump, like they were all working to take down this big corporation, So I just couldn't escape that.
Absolutely. And to go back to Shahab's The Naked Gun as a puzzle piece, and then along with Hackers, from the very first moment of this movie, when the titles started typing out in hacker code, I was like, I'm already laughing, but laughing in a good way. Like it was, I don't know, it was just fun. But...
Exactly. I feel like as soon as you see anything like that, where you're like, we're about to get the Matrix, we're about to get Hackers.
Yeah.
It's one or the other,
And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm gonna blackmail you so I can kill. You're like, what?
Yeah, it was great. Great setup for a movie right there.
She matters.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of action in here, so I'm going to go in a different direction for my next one and go with Saw because of these completely ridiculously elaborate plans that he sets up to kill people. Obviously, there's the whole reason for it where you can't kill at close range or whatever, but it's just, again, it goes back to the kind of silliness of this that the movie I feel like really does lean into. I don't know, maybe if we talk to the director and Rami Malek, who is also a producer on this, they'd be like, what, you were laughing? What are you talking about? You know, but I don't know. I just thought that was really fun to have these elaborate kill sequences, the pollen in the glass case, and the amazing, right? The pool scene we already mentioned. I mean, those deaths were so just over the top and just brought me back to those saw traps.
Yeah, 100%.
So much fun stuff. So let's go to another one from Shahab here.
Did you go?
Yeah, that was Saw. Is it?
Oh, Saw. Yeah. Okay, cool. So the next one I'm gonna say is Beverly Hills Cop, because he's like, don't investigate this. Why don't you go on vacation? It was kind of one of those situations. Man, now that I'm looking at my list, there's a lot of comedies on here. Yeah. So
comedy writes it so well, that's the tough part.
Yeah. Well, and comedy, like cop movies, they are always written from the point of view of knowing every single real straight cop movie that came before, and they're always playing with the tropes quirks, and all that stuff. Yeah. So I mean, that Naked Gun, anything where it's a straight up like cop comedy, you're going to be getting into all those things. So it makes a lot of sense that it would come up on this episode for sure. So let's go to another one from Steve.
So to kind of piggyback on Saw, I felt like this was the bridge that turned Kevin McAllister into John Kramer. I mean, they both can't do the physical violent, like with the knife, guns, whatever. They can't do it directly, but they can do traps.
Sure.
And so the whole time I was thinking this is his midlife crisis. And then he becomes John Kramer after this.
Amazing. So for anyone who doesn't get the reference, we're going from Home Alone, which is the puzzle piece, to The Amateur, and then he eventually becomes the killer from Saw. So yeah, that is definitely
that's a good fan theory.
Yeah, that is a fan
I like
theory.
that.
I love that. Absolutely. And yeah, just these traps are just so elaborate and so ridiculous. And I mean, those are just so much fun to watch. So let's go to another one from Marco.
I win V for Vendetta in that same sense, where everything V was putting together, like all the roses from the laboratory for the doctor, and the intricacies of all the planning, but at the same time making everything look like an accident all the way through.
Yeah.
So that's something, and at the same time having this political tone to it. This very much felt like I gave you, you're doing me no justice. I gave you all the evidence. I gave you everything, and you can't do anything. So
sure, yeah.
I'll take justice into my own hands. And is like, yes, we know that like systems are failing us, but the concept of always taking it into our own hands is also a concept that we have to think about, because it can be dangerous and does lead to like cyber terrorism in this, in this sense, which is like, as long as it's used for the good, it's fine.
Who's the judge?
But like at the same time, like who's the judge? And like that's also the same thing where it's like we're always talking about our perspective, his wife died, so he has this outlet. The whole movie they're talking about like, you went through this whole tragedy, so you've got me there, so I've given you this bit. But at the same time he's like, no, he's killed 3 people already in like terrorizing fashion.
Yeah.
Like he really planned it out. So like, come on, guys. Like, is he crazy? Is he not crazy? What are we doing about this?
Is he going to jail?
Like we gotta do something about it. But it's a matter of our perspective on it. It's always that is. From our side, their side, Rami Malek's side,
totally. Yeah,
it's always perspective.
The political angle of this movie is so weird because like it feels like an 80s movie, but then it feels like now, and it's like kind of, it's really all mixed up in that. And who's good, who's bad, is everyone good? And Yeah, so I mean,
Both sides.
yeah, really. I mean, basically,
yeah.
and I think we're kind of past that at this point. But I mean, that's kind of where this movie seems to be coming from. But yeah, interesting one to bring up here. I'm gonna go. It's funny. The other big action movie we're getting this month, The Accountant 2. I kept thinking of The Accountant as a puzzle piece for this. I mean, we've got this like neurodivergent guy who's good with numbers, and all of a sudden turns out to be this badass who's just great at everything and is just totally killing everybody and coming up with these insane plans and making his way through a whole like revenge plot and taking down an organization. John, it does works for all of us, and John Bernthal's in that one
Hey,
too.
Dad,
So,
I feel you.
we got a little connection there, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to The Accountant too. Did you guys like The Accountant?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun
good.
movie. Yeah, Ben Affleck's good in that, and I think they both have very
Fantastic.
similar quirks. Both of these characters, so it's a fun one. Shahab, let's go to another one.
So this time I'm gonna go not comedy. I feel like it had a lot of the feelings of Tenet, right? So the planes, the color palette, the elaborate hallways, and all of that. But then if you compare the two, regardless of whether or not you're a Christopher Nolan lover or not, you hate his shit. Putting it up against this, like there's story, and then there's my wife died. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, wonderful. But yeah, in terms of like sets, locations, the feeling, the color, Tenet.
Yeah, and this movie looked better than most action movies that we see recently. I was kind of surprised by that and very happy about that. I mean, movies just haven't really looked like movies since 2020. And so this looked like a movie, and so, of course, Nolan always looks like a movie no matter what he's making. So, yeah. So, Steven, let's go to another one from you.
So for this one, I'll go with another franchise, Jack Ryan. Any
Okay,
Jack
yeah.
Ryan movie. The nerdy CIA analyst, and all of a sudden can kill people just like that.
Yeah.
Like he's great at everything. He can fool everybody. And so yeah, I had a bunch of Jack Ryan vibes throughout the entire movie.
Somehow I've never seen the Jack Ryan movies as much as I love Tom Cruise and like and all that stuff.
You've never seen Jack Ryan?
No.
Like Some of All Fears or
No.
Hunt for Red
I
October?
thought Jack Ryan was Jim Halpert, or am I?
Yeah, for the TV show, but
okay.
There's
Harrison-
multiple versions.
Harrison Ford, Alec
You
got me.
Baldwin, and Ben Affleck,
That sucks.
and Chris Pine
Oh.
have played him. They've all played him.
Whoa!
I probably like
I
all
had
of them.
no idea.
I'm sure they're all good.
Especially the Hunt for Red October with Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
That one.
I think I
is
did see
amazing.
that one back in the day, but it's been forever. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like so many of these kinds of action franchises could fit here, and that definitely is one that I think fits the bill totally. So,
Yeah.
let's go to another one over there, Marco.
So we've already like touched on all the ones like I watched Born Identity for the first time, like leading up to this movie, because I was like, what action packed sort of drama could I watch? Though Mission Impossible came up too.
Yeah.
Though I'm not a huge Tom Cruise fan, so that's why I was like, I'd rather watch Matt Dillon be a badass versus versus Tom Cruise. But I actually have a question for y'all. Did y'all see the original Amateur?
I've never seen it.
know.
I haven't
I never
seen it. I didn't
have.
watch it.
I
No.
did not. I
Yeah.
know Christopher Plummer's in it. That's about it.
Interesting.
Did any of y'all watch Mr. Robot leading up to this?
That
Not
was
leading
one,
up to it, but I've
But
seen
I've
it.
seen it before.
You've seen it before?
Yeah.
You've seen it before?
Oh,
Yeah. Mr.
So-
Robot is actually one that I was going to bring up. I think this character feels like he's kind of an extension of the same thing, basically.
And that's, I feel like what I got from the trailer alone was Mr. Robot. I had never seen this show, but I at least watched like a episode and a half. I couldn't, I was just too busy to watch the entire season as much as I would really have loved to committed to that. But having watched like an episode and seeing this, there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And even like Rami Malek as like an actor, I think is very interesting. And I would like to hear y'all's opinion on what you think of Rami Malek as an actor, because I have some opinions, having seen some of his work. So
I think he's fine.
His opinions.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he's
You know,
fine.
we don't have to bash him, but I would like to hear what y'all think. Like,
I just think he's
depending
like
on what y'all seen.
he always seems to play odd. Like it's almost like he's typecast in that way. He's always just odd and a little off and a little weird. And whether he's a bad guy, whether he's a good guy, somewhere in between, he's always just like a little weird. And I don't know if that's just something he's trying to build for himself as like a character, or if he's stuck in it or not, or if it's just that's what he plays. I'm not really quite sure though. What about you guys?
Remember, like 007, he was like the big bad guy in 007.
I thought he was great in that.
Yeah.
But until now, this was the only good performance from him that I've seen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, he was in
Like-
Queen, right? And
Bohemian
was
Rhapsody,
in-
that was the
Not really.
worst
What else?
best actor win of all time.
I didn't like that one because the editing was choppy.
Oh,
as
it's
hell.
terrible.
And it won best editing.
And it
at
won
the
best
Oscars.
editing, which is completely insane.
That's what.
But
No,
that's
I'm not
another
gonna
podcast.
say- I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. Well, I think we got a lot of good stuff here. I do want to open up to the floor, see if we have any puzzle pieces, anything that we haven't mentioned yet. Anybody think of anything here? We got one right here.
At least the explosion scene when he blew the guy up, it reminded me of like Joker Heath Ledger. And he like, ugh. That
Yeah.
movie.
Some Heath Ledger Joker in there. Absolutely. Yep. I like that. Yeah. And it's like we were saying, like he's just such an odd character, and like the way that he like reacts and stuff like that, just as an actor.
Kind of
even.
Joker-esque.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as time went on, he really was like, tell me what I need to know. He kind of became like Batman / Joker, right?
A little of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on. I think I saw a hand right up there.
Yeah, it reminded me of Eagle Eye. Do you remember Eagle Eye back in the day?
Eagle Eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shia LaBeouf.
Like the
Yeah,
intel-
Michelle
that quiet
Monaghan.
room that he like went into reminded me of like the giant eye back in that movie.
That's good. I was trying to think of a good movie with like all the surveillance and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
mixing it up and everything. I think that was like what 2002
Yes.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did the same like face intel type of stuff.
Sure.
where They,
Yeah.
were watching people with all the cameras.
Mixing
Way
all the
better.
cameras to get a higher resolution
Yep.
image and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and now it's probably all happening.
You had the craziest reaction during the movie.
Oh.
Very early on, I was like, "Yo,
I thought I figured it
she is locked
Oh.
in right now."
What? Wait, what was it?
I wish I could remember. I just my memory is too
out.
bad
No,
for
it was
that.
when the CIA, the old white guy, and like they were when he was like trying to give them the intel,
Mhm.
and he said, "Oh, you already know." And I freaked out because I was like, "Oh, they're in on it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
But I definitely did freak out.
It did. One of those moments where, like, you saw someone visibly react to what they just saw, and I was like, "Wow,
That's movie
this
theaters.
is what movies are all about."
You only get that in a
and
movie
I was
theater.
I was like, she has to stay until the end because she has to know. She has to know.
Absolutely. Any other puzzle pieces out here in the crowd? Right up there?
It's not really a question, but like, I've never been like fortunate enough to be in an infinity pool.
Yeah.
But an infinity bridge, like I wouldn't even dare to
Yeah. It's horrifying.
swim across that.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
just killed me in a normal.
I don't even like want to walk across. Like,
Yeah.
forget that. Absolutely.
No.
Anything else? Anybody else have anything? Oh, here goes mom.
Not a puzzle piece.
Oh boy.
So in the beginning, the house in that nice setting, and I'm saying to myself, could be Vermont. Then I said, no, it can't be Vermont. It's got to be because he's working at Langley, so it's got to be like PA, somewhere kind of near.
You sound like a detective right now. You're figuring it all
Well,
out.
because I was trying to move the fucking plot along. It just wasn't happening. And even the last scene, I know this has nothing to do with the movie, but even the last scene when Hendo, whatever, got into the car, I was sitting there saying, why couldn't it have been Harrison Ford and Danny Glover? Even though I'm mixing up, because I'm thinking of Witness, and it has nothing to do with that at all. Furthermore, another piece that's not a piece is somebody has taken his mother numerous times to Lung Center of Nevada, and they put her in a glass booth. And
I know. I recognize that.
fucking blow.
She has to do that test every like 6
And they
months.
never shut the door on me. Yeah, my legs are hanging out, so how that happened.
Should I bring pollen to our next
Coming
one?
in, And I'm just blowing for my
Oh
life.
no.
Which don't anybody take Tespire shots because it doesn't work for asthma. Oh, jeez.
There you
From
go.
the pilot program. So
right.
that's pretty much it in that scene from The Godfather.
Okay. Yeah.
That inside shot, whatever.
Uh-oh, my dad
Yes.
has something.
Oh, now it's worse.
Yes, hello.
If you can get any of the wrestlers over to my store, wax rack, you got 10% off.
You know, you could talk to him after
hey,
the
you
show.
let me know.
Dad.
WrestleMania is next week. I got you.
I heard all about it.
Oh yes. If you want to go to a show,
Take him. Take.
no. But if you want to go to a show, WrestleMania weekend, I got you. We have a show on Friday. I'd love for you to be there.
You're going,
No,
Dad?
please.
You going? Okay,
No,
back on
please.
track. Any more puzzle pieces? We got one right here.
I got you. Well, I got you after. You can't hide. I know your son.
Right here, we got one.
Oh man, I had a few, but
Okay.
well, one was Blade Runner because of that scene with the pollen. And
Pollen, yeah.
when she gets out, she just totally kicks his ass,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
It's the scene in Blade Runner and with Zora.
Right.
She like beats him up and runs out of the but
Hell
she gets
yeah.
him back her. Collateral Damage, where Arnold Schwarzenegger is a regular guy whose family is killed by terrorists, and he decides to go hunt them down.
Sure. Was that like right after Terminator?
That was like one of
2?
his last big movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Black Hat, because Christopher Nolan gets all his best stuff from Michael Mann.
Yeah.
And Colt McInerney is in it.
Who's that Black Hat?
Black Hat was that was Hemsworth. Was it?
Michael Mann, Christopher, which Chris?
Hemsworth.
Yeah, it was Hemsworth, right? Yeah. No, that was.
Check that out.
Yeah, and that kind of goes along with the Eagle Eye puzzle piece that was brought up earlier. So yeah.
And I wanted to like go off the spy films and just say 21 grams with Sean Penn. And,
Good movie.
They like decide to get revenge against this guy Benicio del Toro, who's responsible for like a car accident. That
Shut
killed
up, Benicio.
husband. So I have that one.
Right on. Yeah, those are some great ones there. Absolutely. I think we can get into some closing thoughts here. We have one right over here.
One small one when they were leaving the hideout with the hacker woman, it kind of felt a little bit like Set It Off when they were being shot. There was something about that, and specifically like the women being a liability and being murdered through the movie.
Yeah.
While men are trying to be men.
Sure.
Yeah.
Set It Off. Hell yeah. I haven't seen that in a while. That is great.
Men Being Men is the epitome of this movie.
This whole genre. Basically.
Golly.
Yeah.
He was like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, because he's just being a dude.
He's being a
In
dude.
like the worst way.
Yeah.
Like I get up, like he was like, hey, I know your wife died, but like you're doing this. He's like, yeah, because my wife died. I'm like, he's just being he's being a boy. Just let him be a
Start
boy.
joking about
He's
it.
just a little hacker boy. He's just a little hacker boy.
I wish John Bernthal got in on the being a dude stuff. 'Cause
Yeah, there
I
was
like
not,
the hair and all, you know.
Yeah, there was like
That was a great red herring.
he was in the trailer, and he was like, I was like, oh, they kind of tease him in the trailer, but like nothing kind of extreme or like really meaningful came of that, and I was like, oh, he's saving it for that other. He's saving it for accountant too.
Right.
He's saving it for accountant too. Goddamn.
Absolutely. Yeah,
He's
like he
also
said.
credited on IMDb as his character's name is the Bear.
Yeah.
And I'm
Interesting.
Like,
Would you
why?
rather be with a man or a bear?
Random. That's
Yeah,
totally
okay.
random. Yeah.
Get a Philly cheesesteak while you're at it.
Oh, because he's
Yeah,
a
the
Russian
bear.
asset.
Yeah.
He's a Russian
He's a
asset.
Russian-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
Bears.
80s.
Amazing. All right, let's go to some
Russian-
closing thoughts here, Shahab. What do you got?
I'm gonna do a fire run through the rest of the things that I had.
you
on
wrote a
here.
bunch more down?
Nobody said The Matrix, even though.
Yeah.
Inception, Spy Kids, The Creator, because this movie was half ADR. Spies Like Us, which was, had the satellite images and all the espionage. Austin Powers, the Blade nightclub scene.
How
right?
much
Nice.
spy movies were you watching
Get
leading
Smart,
up to this?
where he's a bumbling idiot, right? Man Who Knew Too Little, all the versions, Indiana Jones.
Nice.
And so I just want to say thank you for having me.
list.
Thank you for
Indiana
everyone
Jones.
who stayed. You guys rock.
And
That
you should
is
have
a
gone
list.
last.
Hey, turn the head around. Let's see the UNLV on the front. Just real quick. Yeah, shout out UNLV one time.
There you go.
One time.
Steven, closing thoughts.
My last one was Casino Royale, the opening fight,
Oh.
because it was so like dirty, brutal. He couldn't get it clean. Like he couldn't in this movie. He couldn't with the woman at the beginning get it clean,
Sure.
and it reminded me exactly of that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it goes right along with all the
The-
other Bond
the spy
and spy
movies,
stuff
yeah.
that we talked about. So absolutely, definitely throw that on the list. Marco, any closing thoughts you want to mention?
My big thing is, this is usually a movie that I wouldn't consider like I need to go out this weekend to go see, but I'm so glad that I saw it, and it also like I watched like Born Identity. I was just watching these weird like thinking in this spy James Bond era, you know.
Yeah.
So I am just kind of grateful and thank you so much for having me again on the show and putting me in my like 007, you know, if I had a cocktail jacket on right now, it'd be perfect. But
Yeah.
this was just so much fun then. And thank you again for having me.
And thank you for being so eloquent. I
Yes.
feel like he beat us all on that.
No. Like I this is like honestly, even your dad up top,
Yeah.
second time, I got you. Catch me on the third episode. I got you. But truthfully, this is such a fun experience, and watching movies like this is amazing.
There's
you
nothing
know?
better than watching movies like this with a crowd, with people that are game to like hang out and talk about it
it's
and like
fun.
the whole thing. So
It's very fun. So thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say there was so many moments in this movie where I was like, oh wow, this is about to get really good, and then it just kind of stayed the same. Like
And the talking began.
yeah, but it was fine, and it was way better than I expected it to be, and it was a fun time. So yeah, 1 to 10.
I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, I'll probably go with a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah.
That wasn't harsh at
Yeah.
all.
No, I liked
His
it.
lips
I liked
are
it.
not normal. It's very upsetting. He has one very
That's
big lip and one
crazy.
very little lip.
He's a weird guy. I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
and he
Rami Malek?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Rami
Yeah,
Malek?
You thought he was
very-
talking about me.
not really
Yeah.
masculine.
What do you think it is about
On
it
that note
though?
of masculinity, I think that was the reason why he had such elaborate kills, because they saw him as
Oh,
feminine.
because he was a brain.
Oh, he could think out
Yeah,
things.
yeah, that's for sure.
Small and sneaky.
Yeah.
like-
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the only time he ever got into a fight was with a thin person, and she.
Interesting. There you
But
go.
it's like he's
never
the
stood a
super,
chance.
he's the
Point taken.
villain in a movie where like he's the good guy, but
Yeah.
he's doing like the villain and
He's
stuff.
the hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is the guy who calls and says, "Hey, I know that you're in this place, and I'm gonna do this thing to you." That's always the villain in all these cases, but they just kind of like inverted.
I think that's what made this interesting and worthwhile. Absolutely. So, yeah, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. Shahab.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you
We'll
so
let him
much.
talk afterwards. Shahab, tell people where they can find you and everything you're up to.
You can find everything we're up to on thinkspeak.org.
Right on. Steven, anything you want to promote?
Nothing to promote, really, just this podcast. It's
Hey,
an amazing
yeah.
podcast, amazing experience, and thank you for having me as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. Marco, how about you?
My name is Marco Arriaga. I'm a video producer, comedian, and a professional wrestling ring announcer. You can find me on Instagram at YummisHummus. You can also find, I'm not sure when this is coming out, but if it's before next week.
It'll be on Monday, actually. So.
On Monday. So you can catch me Friday night live at For Vegas by Vegas Graph House at Ferguson's downtown.
Nice.
That is the professional wrestling underground coming to you for Vegas by Vegas.
Yeah.
And I got tickets for all of y'all. If y'all want tickets, I got you. I got you.
I'm
Please.
going to the
Please.
Fan Fest on Friday
Please.
anyway.
Yes,
so.
please. Yes, please. I got tickets. Please. I'll be
Amazing.
announcing the show. So David, I will gladly I will shout out Piecing It Together.
Hell yeah.
All the while. Yep.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for doing the show. We'll be at Downtown Cinemas on May 1st for Thunderbolts, and we'll be back here at Maya Cinemas soon. We'll be announcing our next show here very soon. But I wanted to thank Maya Cinemas for having us, and thank you to all of you for being here, and that's our show for tonight.
Thank you.
Great job.
Hi, this is Wax Trax Records here on 2909 South Decatur. We buy all your old 45s, your old albums, any type of music memorabilia. Also, we sell music memorabilia, albums, CDs, and a lot. Come on down to Wax Trax, 2909 South Decatur, or give me a call at 702-362-4300. Thank you very much.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about The Amateur. Thank you again to Maya Cinemas for having us out. Thank you to Shahab Zargari, Stephen Hughes, Marco Arriaga for joining me on that one. Thanks to everyone who showed up to Maya Cinemas. And thank you to you for listening. If you're enjoying Piecing It Together, make sure you are subscribed wherever it is that you're listening. You could drop us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Good Pod, Spotify, wherever that is. And that helps make sure that more people check out the show. Follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. I got a whole bunch of stuff on the way, so you'll find out about it if you're subscribed or following. There's also a mailing list. I just started a Substack where I have moved my whole mailing list over to, so you can follow me on there as well. Lots of ways to connect. Check the show notes for all that. I love hearing from people. If you think of puzzle pieces for the episode that we didn't mention, send them in. I'd love to hear them. And also, I'm always looking for guests for future episodes, so do get in touch with me. So let's close this thing out with a piece of music like I always do. And I got to go with something a little bit action-packed for this one. How about that? From my most recent album, Missing Pieces, I'm going to go with a track called Throughout the World. So I think this one fits the very upbeat and exciting nature of the film. So let's go with Throughout the World from Missing Pieces. The album is available on Spotify, Apple Music, all those places. And we'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
an All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.